There's a difference. That's right. In complaining and telling the truth. That's the title of the video. There's a difference. And a lot of people need to understand this because especially the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American people, they always have this thought in their mind. If you talk about certain problems or issues that we have over here in America, which America is Babylon, when you talk about slavery and things like that, especially that, more than likely they're gonna go to that line of thinking, you're complaining. You know what I mean? You're complaining, you this and that. You're always talking about think about what you don't have. Think about what you already have and think about the people that don't have what you have. But I want to explain the difference between uh, complaining and telling the truth. The Bible clearly tells you, it says in Jeremiah chapter 14 and 2, Judah mourning, and the gates thereof languish. Mourning means you are in a lot of pain. That's it means that we're over here, and it means we're not complaining, but we are acknowledging that we're being oppressed and we're not being treated equally. We're not being treated right. We never was treated right over here. We always been subjugated to other powers on this planet. Because what I want to talk about, and I'm gonna talk about this some more. This was a request from my brother-in-law, and I'm gonna talk about it because I support my brother-in-law. We all grew up together around here, right? And we live in a society to where people they label us, put a labels on us, and call us different names because we have certain bad habits that we are trying to break. Little do they realize, according to Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verses 58, is that the Most High said, if our people does not observe, that means pay attention, to keep all of the commandments of God, to observe, to do them, which I commanded thee this day, that all these curses, not some of them, all, so-called what they call mental illness, so-called messed up in the head, mentally ill, need to be in a crazy house. He said, all these curses will come up on thee and overtake thee. We have to understand that all of the other nations did not go through what the so-called black man. They went through something, but they ain't went through it like we did. They did not go through oppression like our people did, like our people underwent. Because let me tell you the difference. The so-called white man, if they children in any ways dealing with some type of psychological disorder or problems, they can't read, they can't write, and all of that, they have and they control all of the resources. So if they see a so-called white person is not going to sit up there and see his children or his siblings or grandkids suffering from lack of understanding or education or pronunciation, what they're going to do is they're going to take the money and the resources and the education. White folks is able to put their kids in grants, and this is not complaining. This is just telling you exactly. And we, as a people, we got to go to them for everything that we need. And we know this here. If you don't pay your bills, guess what they're going to do? They're going to come turn your lights off. They're going to turn everything off. If you don't pay that phone bill, if we don't pay these phone bills, guess what the white man going to do? Even though it's a so-called black man running it, the so-called white man is still controlling. The so-called white man can shut everything down any day of the week they want to. You see what I'm saying? They can shut this whole country down. The government, those people that control that can shut everything down around the world. They can shut the electricity off. We have to rely on them for everything. Building houses. If you rent a house, like they saying this is for sale, right? These are houses for sale. Y'all see that, right? Look at that. You call that number, and guess who's going to answer the phone? It may be some so-called black people, but who is behind them? More than likely, we all know it's going to be a so-called white man. We know it's going to be a so-called white man. Guess what? You buy this, we buy that, you and I buy this. Guess what the fuck we got to do? We still got to pay taxes to that motherfucking white man. If you don't pay taxes on your property, guess what? You bought the property, but guess what? You still don't own that motherfucker. You still don't own that. I don't care if you did buy it. You still got to pay taxes on this property because the so-called white man said so. So don't come up here and sit up here and try to act like I'm complaining about some shit. This is not complaining. This is telling the truth about the damn devil that the Bible speaks of. That's what it is. It ain't no look. They They gonna throw all them old race cars out. Tell you what they gonna tell you? You racist, hate speech, and this and that. How in the fuck is me saying the so-called white man have hate speech in us and saying we got fucking hate speech or whatever? They control the world. That's hate speech. Saying that is that hate speech? Saying that they control everything all over the damn world. You commit a crime, they come pick your ass up, point guns at you, have the SWAT fucking team and all that shit. You telling me that they don't control your ass or they don't control us? What is that? That's rule over you. And whatever that so-called devil says, get on the ground. You don't get on the ground, they can take and shoot them fucking rifles. So you telling me that we're not enslaved? You're telling me that them people that live in that house, they still paying taxes on that damn property. You still a slave if you're doing that. We're still a slave if we still got to go to another nation and pay for this and that, pay for this and that, pay for this and pay for that. If you still paying taxes on your property, let me tell you something. You're not free. If you still paying taxes on your property, and guess what? You ain't gonna look. Let me tell you something. Brother Bunny Honey D is a perfect example. Yes, I bought him into it. Brother Bunny Honey D, and I still call him a brother. But I don't care for his movement because his movement is up. He's moved by the demon spirit Satan through the so-called white man. Because guess what? If you refuse to give him that car that he wants, guess who he can call? He can call the fucking European man, the blue man. Y'all know who the blue man is, right? The goddamn blue man is the so-called white man. And guess what? Your ass gonna give it up. Guess what he does? To say he still got somebody ruling over him. He's still a slave. You know how he's a slave to the so-called white man? If you stop me and prevent me from doing my job, I'm going to, you see that there? I'm gonna dial 911. What is that? You serving your enemy. He's serving his enemy, and he don't even know it. Yeah. If you refuse to give that car and you owe it, you put it up for collateral, guess who's behind that? Okay, Bunny Honey D, brother Bunny Honey D is doing his job. But guess who's behind him? The so-called white man. Wake up. Wake up. Wake it. I'm trying to shake you up into reality. Go and buy a house and say you ain't paying no notes. You ain't paying no house note, no car note, and you definitely not paying taxes on a property. See what that white man, see what they gonna do. It may be some so-called black people that come out there, but guess who's behind them? The so-called white man is behind them. Tell me I just lied. The so-called white man is behind every bit of it. Refuse not to pay your bill. Repay your taxes and your rent or whatever. Even if you ain't renting from no damn body. Let's say you ain't even rent. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna reiterate. No matter how you pay a house off, guess what you got to do for the rest of your life? You still got to pay the goddamn taxes on that property. Guess what it means? And I know I said it, but I'm keep reiterating it because a lot of our people get this dumb mindset and they want to argue you and sit there and debate with you. But you ain't gonna debate with Esau if he come tell you to get off that damn property. You ain't gonna argue with the so-called white man. You ain't gonna argue with the blue man coming up with guns drawn at you. No, you ain't gonna do that. But you come and argue with a little old me. Oh, you complaining? No, that's not complaining. Telling you that if you living in a white man's, if you living on property, and you paid for that house and you paid 30 goddamn years on that house, if you refuse to pay taxes on this ground that you got that house on, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna take that property, take your house, and take everything. What does that mean? It means you still ain't free. Now, what you gonna do? You still gonna sit there and debate me and tell me you ain't free? I mean, you is free. Guess what? When you get on the highway, you still got to go and pay for gas. You still got to go and take your goddamn license tag off your car and see don't you still can ride around. Hold on. You say you free, right? And you got some of our people sit there and argue with you. They still free, right? Take the license tag off the back of your car and get your ass out there on the highway and see what's gonna happen. And I want to see exactly. I'd be like, I'm waiting. And see, don't Esau come behind you with them sirens and pull your ass over. Because guess what? He gonna let your ass know in a heartbeat. When he get through with you, giving you a couple of papers and whatever you call that shit, papers and tickets and stuff, you gonna see just how free your ass gonna be. You gonna see just how free you is. You gonna find out when they get through pulling you over. I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me if you are free. I want you to tell me if you're free. Yep. I guarantee you, when you get through with that and you still come out and say you're free, then I know you're delusional. Let him pull you over. You don't have a driver's license plate. You never had the car. You don't definitely don't have an insurance. Come back and tell me after they done, after they tow that car, tow your ass, tow you, then turn around and take you and put you in their prison system or jail system for expired driver, expended drive, no driver's license, no insurance, and no up-to-date license plate on there. And tell me exactly how he treats you, and then come back and tell me whether you're a slave or not. And if you tell me that you still free after all this shit that been done to you, then I know you fucking delusional. I mean, I know you're delusional. You're very delusional. People say all the time, they say we free. How in the hell are you free if you get on the highway and drive your damn car on the highway? You're gonna sit there and tell me you free. Make that make sense. It doesn't make any sense. I'm still trying to find uh uh when they bring that up into an argument and tell you, let some of our family members get out of here. Some of my family members own motorcycles. They sat up there and told me, "Oh, we free." It's sudden. I dare them to get. I ain't never seen them not one time get out here and say, "Oh, they free. They can drive without motorcycles to driver's license. A motorcycle with no motorcycle's license plate." I never heard them come to me. If they can come to me and tell me that they free and they never got stopped and they told me I can go, I'm good, I don't need no license, then okay, then I have a reason. But even the Bible, all of that is Bible prophecy. Did y'all know that? The Bible ain't gonna lie to you. If you say you believe in God, the Bible ain't gonna lie, right? But I thought the Bible was so fake. If the Bible is so fake, like you saying, then by that logic, you should be able to get out here with no driver's license, no insurance, none of that, and drive and still be able to. No, you know how some people gonna justify it? They're gonna say, well, if you break the law, you pay. Just like if we break God's law, we pay and all of that kind of stuff. They're gonna try to compare it to that. But it's not the same thing because there's a difference in between breaking God's law, paying for something that you've done, and breaking what they call man's law, or whether there has to be laws in place. So just like God has laws in place and this and that and the third. No, we talking about hate and unjustly treated wrong, all those different things. That's what we talking about. We talking about slavery. Because if you sit up there and tell me that um that you have to have law, okay, laws in place and all that kind of stuff, and you you done wrong, and I mean like if you break the law, you done wrong, you got to be punished for it and all that kind of stuff. Um, and you said you got to be punished. We talking about slavery and being free and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? That's what we talking about. We're not talking about breaking God's law. You see what I'm saying? We talking about living in a society and living in captivity. You don't own your own shit. You don't own what you own. You don't own nothing in this country. But you got to go and depend upon another nation for your food, your water, your clothes, and everything. And you ain't got no other choice but to go to the other nation. Hold on. And you got to go to the other nations to get what you need and all that kind of stuff. And we living in a land subject to payment according to the Bible. The Bible says in Baruch chapter 3 and verse 8, behold, we are yet this day in our captivity, and we are scattered for a reproach. Why were we scattered? We were scattered because we disobeyed God's laws and stuff like that. But at the same time, we're still in captivity. Another nation come over here and take your land, take your language, take everything that belongs to you and things of that nature. Because if you read Isaiah 42 and 20 and 42, the Bible says that this is a people robbed and spoiled. So when you're robbed, somebody doing things or doing something against your will, right? So our people would use that to justify slavery or justify the so-called white man shooting them down. Well, because you break the law, you broke the law, then therefore that's not slavery because you broke the law. You see what I'm saying? That's what they'll say. But they use those things is to justify the so-called white man charging you money for what you got. You see what I'm saying? Paying rent, that's slavery. But they'll try to take up on them and say, well, you got to pay anywhere you stay. You got to pay. That has nothing to do with being unjustly treated and living in a society to where you got to go and rely upon another nation for everything you that you have. Now, here's what a lot of people, this is another justification that they throw out too. It was an elderly lady said this to me. She said this. She said, well, if God is punishing us for what we have done, and you say he used the so-called white man is to punish us for what we have done, then there's no need to be getting mad at him. That's the justification that they'll use. Why would you get mad at him if God using them to punish you and you know what's going on? Why would you get mad at him and all that? Let him punish you. Just take the punishment and don't worry about it. Don't worry about, like, in other words, what she was saying. Don't worry about getting on camera, complain. They'll say that's what they that and I can understand where they coming from, but they still got to look at the bigger picture. You see what I'm saying? That's their way of justifying it and saying, well, if they using, if y'all say we broke the commandments and these things are happening to us, then just take and deal with the consequences. and deal with the punishment and this and that and the third, and stop sitting up. And I think that's where that coming in at, where they'll tell you to stop blaming the white man and take responsibility and start keeping the commandments. And if you break the law, don't get mad at him because you went against his commandments and he used them to punish you. So why would you? What she basically saying, it doesn't make any sense is to get mad with them and be angry with them for what they're doing. If y'all say that they punishing us because we broke God's commandments. This is what the elderly lady told me. Hold. So what I'm doing, I'm breaking down their logic. So here's the thing though. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 7, it says, surely oppression will make a wise man mad, right? So if oppression makes a wise man mad, it doesn't give you the license to say, well, since they punishing us or since they doing these things to us, we don't have a right. We ain't got no business getting mad at them. Let's just be ignorant and just take the punishment and say, okay, yes, sir. No, no, that don't. He didn't say be ignorant now. He didn't say sit up there and just allow them. Okay, well, since my mother didn't obey the commandments of the Most High God and all this kind of stuff, since she didn't obey the commandments of God, now the white man is beating up with some blackjacks. So I ain't got no reason to get mad. Let's take our punishment. No, you are accepting the spirit of slavery when you do that. That's where the slavery come in at. No, it doesn't mean that you don't have a right to still be angry about what's going on. You see what I'm saying? Or being angry about and being upset about what's going on with your people. Because Moses, even when that Egyptian harmed one of the children of Israel and murdered one of the children of Israel, then Moses got angry and Moses went and killed that Egyptian. He didn't accept and sit up back and just say, hey, I'm going to accept this slavery. Since we broke the commandments, I'm going to go ahead and just accept this slavery and just let my brother get killed and just I'm going to let the Lord have. No, Moses didn't do that. Moses had a spirit of integrity and he had a righteous anger in him because there's a such thing as a righteous anger. That doesn't mean that you got to still sit there and allow yourself to get mistreated by the same people who enslave you and give you a white God. You see what I'm saying? That doesn't mean you got to. God says don't be ignorant when it comes to spiritual gift. Don't sit up there and allow yourself, oh, because they did this to me, and I'm gonna invite them in my house to dinner. That they done sat up there and they done ravished my baby and all that kind of stuff. So I can't really be mad with them that they ravished my child, and I'm just gonna. I ain't seen you in 30 years, nigga. What's up, man? Who this is? I can't remember the name. Simon, okay. Your homeboy. But yeah. I'm we got to talk, man. See, he didn't, he didn't. That's why I said we got to talk. You know what I'm saying? But see, even though we grew up together, we got to learn how to talk to each other. You see what I'm saying? We got that, and that's the thing that I'm talking about now. That's that slave mentality mind. That's what we got to do. We hate each other. We look at each other crazy. You know? Yeah, we look at each other crazy. Oh, wait a minute. Let me stop this in. Hold on. I don't know if they was trying to get my attention back there. I know they kind of looking kind of strange, like, yeah. But anyway, yeah, they got music over there. Hopefully nobody can hear the music. But see, the person they passed by in the car, that's why I told y'all heard what I said, huh? I said, what we got to do, we got to take time and like get to talk to each other. And that's why I said, what did I say? I said, we got to take time and get to know each other. I said, let's sit up and let's have a conversation. Because sometimes things be so long and you don't be trying to do stuff intentionally. You see what I'm saying? You don't be trying to do stuff intentionally. But it just happened because sometimes you know how you go. Cause see, we ain't been in Louisiana and it's been years, man. Yeah, it's been years. It's been 15 years. I got to turn this off because they got music up there, and YouTube will give you copyright for this here. So I can't go no further. So we gonna come back. And I'm gonna have to read some scriptures and go over some more history and talk about this stuff, what we actually been going through and stuff. And I want to try to break it down a little bit better, man, and explain what slavery is. So I'm gonna see y'all later here. We gonna get up out of here.